Vincent Posada is suing his former roommate Carmela Ortiz in the amount of $596. He says after pulling a prank on the defendant, she viciously attacked him, resulting in a chipped tooth.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Mr. Posada, we got an issue here about you getting your tooth knocked out.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct. Here's a picture of what she did,
yes,
and
thanks.
That's the bill.
596, the damage here, and let's talk about what happened. Ooh, that's it chipped.
Yeah, it was.
You didn't lose your tooth, but you chipped it.
Chipped it, yeah.
Ouch, let's take a look at that on the plasma. Yeah, and Miss Ortiz,
Yes.
what happened here?
Well, I've been living with Vince for a little while now. My sister.
Platonic, or are you all in a relationship?
We are not in a relationship. My sister.
I want to make that clear.
Want to make that clear. I simply was looking for a roommate, and my sister knew him. She met him at a open mic because he's a struggling comedian.
All right. Well, how did the tooth end up getting chipped?
Basically, it's going to sound a little gross, but Vince is lactose intolerant, and I don't know why. Given his age, he's not in 3rd grade anymore, but
I like ice cream.
he
Who
finds
doesn't like ice cream?
I love ice cream.
I love ice cream too.
right, and he knows what ice cream does to him because he's lactose intolerant, and he tends to.
I know what ice cream can do to you.
However, I don't like having ice cream thrown at my face, and that's actually what she used
That
to chip
is
my
not
tooth.
what happened
It was
all.
a frozen hard brick of ice
Vince,
cream.
so I out of nowhere just threw ice
pint of
cream
ice-
at you.
yeah, you threw a
I'm pretty
pint of
sure
ice
that
cream
I
at
was
me.
taking a nap. He had come home, farted at me after I assumed.
I just need to make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Did you fart in her face?
Well, technically, I guess in a way, yeah. 'cause
He
she
did
was laying
fart in
down,
my
and
face.
I walked
It's not
past
something
her,
you
and
can be
her face
confused
just happened to be
about.
right by there when I was walking.
There's
at that
nothing
moment.
confusing about the
was-
smell.
No doubt about that one.
It does seem funny on the surface, but
You're like, I wasn't laughing at the time.
I was not, because I do put up I put up with it from time to time.
Put
and
up with what?
his farting and his comedy act, and I support him.
Well, what does one have to do with the other? Are you saying that he just has a problem
Oh, no,
passing
no.
gas a lot?
He does, but he does it deliberately to be funny.
Oh, you think it's a joke?
I don't think it's a joke, but I think that's why she immediately
think
got
it's a
up.
joke?
She ran to the freezer,
Well, I'm a
grabbed my
little
ice cream. She's like, "This is why you
confused on
fart
what
all the
you've been
time. I blame
telling
this
me."
ice cream," and she chucked it at my face.
You know when you're getting ready to pass some gas. You know that. So why? So if nothing else, even when you felt the sensation of what was getting ready to happen, you would go, okay, let me step away. So for you to go right where she was,
Right
and
where I
she happened to
was.
be sleeping, and you let it rip, that's foul. Pun intended.
So what followed after that happening is that I was asleep, I got farted on, I turned and kicked, and he tripped and hit his tooth. I was not violently chucking an ice cream at
Well,
you.
where does the ice
She
cream
did
come into
kick
play?
me, Your Honor.
Because he
She
was
did,
eating it.
But then she also
Because it
threw
makes him fart.
No, I get that. Ice
Yes.
cream makes people fart. I get it.
First, she jumped up, she kicked me, ran towards the kitchen, grabbed the ice cream out of the freezer, and she's like, "You need to stop
I
eating
did
this."
not
And she
jump
threw it
up
at me.
and pull a
Oh, I see.
ninja move
But she
on
did
him.
kick
It was
me,
a
you're right.
simple
She kicked me,
reaction to
and I
him
did fall,
farting
and she
at me,
kicked me
and he
several
tripped.
other-
He's
another
just
three
trying
times,
to get
actually,
more money
exactly.
because he knows
You
he
don't
can't
have
pay
to
me
talk
back.
loud for me to hear you. I'm right here.
Yes.
What I'm trying to understand is one of you has what happened wrong. Because you're saying she went over to the freezer, threw the ice cream, and you chipped your tooth. You're saying you kicked him because you reacted, and then as a result of the kick, did he fall?
Yes.
If both of you were in your right mind, how are the stories so different?
Well, she was drunk, Your Honor, so she wasn't
Now
in
I
her
was
right.
drunk.
She was.
I'm sorry, but if anyone was drunk, I didn't want to bring this up because I don't have hate towards you, Vince.
Coming up.
Okay, and so you're saying that while she was asleep,
She was passed out drunk, I believe.
So she was passed out drunk.
I believe he said I
No,
was napping
okay, you're
before.
interrupting me. I got this. You're saying you came home. Had you been drinking?
Yeah, I just come home from work. I just got off of
Okay.
I was doing
So
a show.
you're admitting to have had consumed alcohol. If you are in a bar and you're working as a comedian and typically they are given drinks, the inference is you would have been the one drinking and she would not have been the one, because if she's asleep, unless she was just so wasted that she comes out of a sleep from a fart and then starts doing all of that, that doesn't make sense. Because your stories are totally different. You have someone here. Who is this person?
This is my sister, Jessica.
Come on up. Also Ortiz, Miss Ortiz?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jessica, why are you here?
Well, I wasn't there for this particular incident, but I do know Vince. I met him at a comedy club.
She's the one who pointed me to him when I was looking for a roommate.
Okay, but you've seen him drunk.
Yes, I have seen
Have you
him
ever
drunk.
seen her drunk?
No.
Has there been anything in your presence regarding this farting?
Oh, boy, has there. That seems to be a regular part of his act. He did make a lot of fart jokes during his act, and he does tend to fart a lot on purpose. You know, there's the occasional slip up, but he does think it's funny to fart on people and around people.
And I have made it clear I do not think it's funny.
Your sister's a big girl. She can talk for herself. Go ahead.
Yes, she has made it clear. Several of us, when we've hung out together, he's inappropriately just let it rip. And just thinks it's the funniest thing in the world and likes to do it regularly, and everybody's expressed that it's just disgusting. Nobody wants to be around it. He still does it. He just thinks it's funny.
Okay. What was his sobriety like that night?
He was not stumbling when he came in, but he was noticeably drunk. And he has a history of being fairly aggressive when he is drunk, and he definitely has a history of not being in control physically when he's drunk. I don't want to infer anything because I know you're a fact-by-fact type of judge, but if I had kicked him, first of all, I was half asleep. It was not a hard kick, it's simply a reaction. Him falling may have been brought on by the fact that he had been drinking and did not have complete physical control of himself.
Okay. You know what you need to work on? You like to control situations. That's not going to work up in here. Your sister was good. Ma'am, you can have a seat. I get it. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the defendant. Because out of everyone that was talking, not real crazy about you, you're a little mouthy, but your sister, she was solid. Because basically she gave me what I needed, because I do believe that you were under the influence of alcohol. That's consistent with what I, just in my own personal experience, of comedians who perform at clubs. Now, had you said I had a gig 2 days ago, then maybe. But if you had just came home from that gig from the bar, you had had some alcohol in you. And the other issue is, whether you realize it or not, when I talked about the chain of events, when you farted on her, that was an assault. You don't have to put your hands on someone to assault them. If you spit on them, if you do something, you know, so to expose someone to some smelly odor.
So you're gonna say you've never farted next to or around
you're not
anybody,
talking.
so you've
You're not
assaulted
talking
people
right now.
then.
You're not talking right now, because I've already decided. That was nasty, that was gross, that was kitty-like. You know, you're a man, but you're acting like a baby. So to me, you're a man baby. You're a maybe. And that's why you're struggling. Because that's immature. Your matter's dismissed. Grow up. Case closed.
All rise.